Hey, Dork friends, this is Marissa Skell, and you're tuning in to the 13th Wolfman.
Hey everybody, it's the 13th Wolfman, and you know what? Today is the first day of the 31 days of Halloween. That is right. This is the time of the year where I do 31 movies in 31 days. Yeah, I usually watch horror regularly all year long, but I don't know. This is that 31 movies type thing, and I know a lot of people that are doing this, and it's always fun to do. So I have 31 movies that I've set a schedule for from the first day of October to the last day of October. And technically there are 32 because I always film an honorable mention. So on the last day you get the 31st movie, and then you get another video which will be the honorable mention. So let's get started. Today is the first day of the 31 movies, or the 31 days of Halloween. And we're going to start off with a big one this time. It is Return of the Living Dead. That's right. Return of the Living Dead came out in 1984. Man, I saw this in the theater when it came out. I was talking to a friend the other day about it. I'm like, do you remember where you were when you saw, Return of the Living Dead? And he goes, well, yeah, I was over at your house. Oh, okay. Well, I figured you saw it in the theater since we grew up together, I mean, I know I saw it in the theater. But, yeah, this was a cool movie. This was written or directed by Dan O'Bannon, the guy that wrote Alien, the guy that gave us Dead and Buried, and he also did a movie with John Carpenter called Dark Star. Yeah, so this was his, he directed this one, and I remember listening to the commentary, and he wasn't exactly happy with how the movie turned out. He wished it would have been better. I'm fine with it. I think it's a great movie. It's not an official film in the Living Dead series, but it is written by John Russo, the co-writer of Night of the Living Dead. So I just think it's one of those really cool things that, if you haven't seen it, I don't know where you've been, but if you haven't seen it, you have Freddie and Frank who work at You Need a Medical Supply for Bert. And one day, Frank's telling Freddie goes, what's the weirdest thing you ever saw? And then Frank says, you know that movie Night of the Living Dead? That's all based on truth. And it's because of this chemical called trioxin, I think it's 245 trioxin. And he goes, we got one of the corpses down in the basement, the canisters, and they go down there and they take a look at it, and the canister leaks and they get infected, and they now need to deal with the whole reanimation of cells, the cadavers at this place are starting to come to life, and half-split dogs are starting to come alive, and so they kind of deal with it the best way they can, but they wind up infecting a lot more because of what they do. It's a really cool movie. The funny thing is that when when Frank is telling the story, he goes, the story that, that movie Night of the Living Dead? Well, he says that movie, he goes, this was a complete and utter screw up. He says we've had the canisters here for 14 years. Well, in the movie it starts out in 1984, so that means they've had the canisters since 1970. But when he starts to tell the story, he says in 1969, which is wrong because Night of the Living Dead came out in 1968. Now you would think that the guy that co-wrote the movie, John Russo, Night of the Living Dead, would know this and make sure that the date is right. It's one of those things that's always bugged me. They've always missed by like a year, but yeah, I love this movie. So the 31 Days of Halloween, it's just me talking about the movie. I mean, I'm not really going to do a full-on review and rate it. I'm just saying, I love this movie. This was like, it's like the one I'm going to start it off with, and the list is just going to get better and better as we go along. You know, I at least I hope you think it does. So, this is the first day in the 31 days of Halloween. I hope you'll follow me along this month of viewership. You know, me watching. In fact, watch along. You know, if you find out what a movie is and you think, hey, I want to watch that. Watch it. Tell me about it. Tell me what you think. There might be some stuff on here that you discover for the first time. There might not be. There's a lot of classics in this. So always like, subscribe, share, and please comment down below. With that, I'm the 13th Wolfman, and of course, I'm on the prowl.